How many of you guys think that's pretty awesome? Information in a series that you're going to be excited to be hearing from different leaders that David's going to be interviewing. And this is going to be a fun back and forth type event tonight. And it's just getting started. And so David is absolutely a legend. If you don't know who he is, trust me, after tonight, you won't forget. Like, he is literally one of these people that when you get to meet him and be around him, you just aren't the same. You truly are so impacted, from his humility to his personality, to his kindness, to just everything that he represents is just something that, again, is just so unforgettable. And David, I'm so excited that you're here with us. But you guys, I just want to say, I want to introduce him properly, because a lot of people I know, especially, I know our team is a year and less in isogenics, and people are like, who's David T.S. Wood? And I'm like, oh my goodness. If you don't know who he is, truly, again, it is an absolute honor to be here and have him on our team call on this event tonight with all of us. And truly, you guys, I'm just going to read his bio because I definitely want to give all the honor, but crazy, rebel, misfit, troublemaker are just a few of the adjectives that describe David T.S. Wood. And some others are humanitarian, pinnacle leader, multi-millionaire, adventurer. I love this about him. Being at UIA, he literally, you could see not only adventure that he was a part of and shared with everyone, but you can just feel it in his spirit being around him. Master educator, and probably the most fun thing about David, goofball. But David is as comfortable leading a team to the top of Kilimanjaro, right, and the roof of Africa, as he is brainstorming with billionaires about changing the world. And he has trained over 1 million students, you guys, all over the corners of the world. And regardless of the venue, language that they speak, duration of the program, his students are always describing him the same way: fearless, transparent, authentic, hilariously funny, which is absolutely true, effective, and life-changing. You guys, David is literally non-apologetic, and approach for everyone isn't literally, it is something to behold. He will pull you out of your comfort zone. He will shake you up and wake you up to what is on the power on the inside of you guys. And he will truly never let you stay the same when you're in his presence, and you don't want to be. And so David, you guys, continues to work all over the world, helping the students break through their fears, create freedom, and design extraordinary lives. And I couldn't be more excited and thankful and proud to be literally joining him tonight and him with us. So you guys, would y'all put some mad love in the chat for David T.S. Wood? David, we're so excited that you're here with us tonight.
Hey, how are you, Brandy? And look, you know what? I know Jeff's sitting right there. I can see his elbow. Why don't we all give all of our supporters, the people that support us, our families, our loved ones, our friends, let's give them all a big round of applause. Let's see those hands going. Come on, everyone. I can see you. Come on, Julie. Monique, come on. I can see you. There you go. Awesome. So thank you so much for this. I'm going to explain again what we're going to attempt to do here tonight. And Brandy, thank you so much for being so open. I want to design a new, fresh approach to a virtual meeting. And so I want to interview leaders from all around Isogenics and around the world. And I want to do it in a different kind of a format. So I thought what we could do is we could come on to this call and we'll do a dry run. We'll practice it. We'll play with it. And then we'll get your feedback. We'll ask you to actually put your feedback in the chat. Or better still, if you want to email or text Brandy, or myself or my assistant, we can start to look at how we can tweak this and bring a fresh element to the virtual world. So if you're excited to be guinea pigs in tonight's call, we want to give you massive value, but we actually want to hear from you as well. Just wave both hands so I can see you're all ready. I know there's pages and pages and pages of people. So what I'll do is I'll introduce the show as if it was me and I was the host. And then I'll bring Brandy and I'll actually introduce her. And then we'll do the show as if we were doing it normally. You're going to be there. You'll be spectating. You'll be a part of it. Hopefully, you're going to get massive amounts of value. So, Brandy, are you ready?
I am. I couldn't be more ready. I'm so excited.
All right. Well, hello, everybody. I can see there's so many of you pouring into the rooms. And so welcome. Thank you so much. I want to welcome you to Master Your Mindset and Sharpen Your Skill Set with David T.S. Wood and my guests with a twist. That's right. We want to put a twist in this, bring a lot of fun, a lot of value to the call today. And the leader I have, oh, by the way, the call is going to be broken into 4 primary rounds. And you're going to see, so we're going to be switching. We'll be going one way, we'll switch, and we'll switch. So it means I get to interview great leaders, but guess what? There's a twist where they get to interview me. So we're going to be going backwards and forwards. So really excited about that. And my first guest, I'm so excited. She's only joined Isagenix a year ago. I mean, can you believe that? She ran to executive in 16 days. 16 days. Now, Brandy, I'm probably out of touch with your accomplishments here, but I believe you're five-star Golden Circle, but that you currently you have what, 4,300 people in your team in 1 year. Is that right?
I think we're at 5,300.
5,300, but 11 executives, or is it more?
It's 13.
Wow. See, I can't keep up. We got to keep tearing these papers up. 13 executives in 1 year. It's absolutely mind-blowing. So let me welcome, let's hear everyone clap for the lovely Brandy Brocker. Here she is. Let's come on, everyone. So Brandy, how the 5 rounds came up was this, or the 4 rounds that we're going to work on is this, is that we would give you a choice of questions, 10 questions we sent to you in advance that you will get to answer. And then to give massive value, once we've done those questions, we're going to put you into a rapid fire round where I have 11 questions, rapid fire questions, so that people can find out some of the things you do, some of the things you love, what's helping you be successful. And then we're going to turn the tide and you're going to interview me. All right. So here's the questions that you chose, which I found to be beautiful. What is the most important skill you need to succeed in network marketing? And how did you personally, Brandy, how did you develop it?
Well, I think first of all, David, there's a lot of skills, that are super huge when it comes to, network marketing and growing teams of people. But I would literally say A1, consistency. I'm sure most people can totally agree with that. Consistency is the key to, having super success. And then also, a big thing is duplication. Obviously growing a team and duplicating is huge. It's not what we can do, it's what we can duplicate. So what I found is, when you show up, you're going to go up. I think that is another really big key because a lot gets caught more than taught. And so I think that especially when I got started in Isagenix, it was like I knew that I wanted to show up and I wanted to hear the stories of the people and then following the system. I think it's so important to master consistency, duplication, but even more importantly, connection. If you can connect, and I love to see people, especially like on this screen, seeing Holly and Denise and hearing their stories and then being original gangsters of Isagenix. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I need to know your story. Because when you're out and about, David, when you're talking to people, it's important that you can, pick up on something and then make it relatable and then connect to that person that you're speaking to. And I really feel like, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. We've all heard that. And I think it's so key. So mastering the skill of consistency and just building the muscle in the trenches with your people, loving your people where they're at, it is a big value that, we get to, have the success when it comes to, having success anywhere you go. But I think especially in network marketing, it's not easy to do, but it's easy not to do, all in the same breath. So just making that decision and going with it.
But so when we say about the most important skill then, I mean, there was a few there, but the one about, I know there's a massive value, but I want people to get, but you talked about connecting and you talked about the ability to really hear and then create that kind of common ground. For me, you know, when it comes down to one of the greatest human qualities on the planet is the ability to really hear and see people. Because when people, you know what it's like, often, you know, you'll meet people and they'll say, oh my gosh, I feel like I've known you my whole life. And you've only had one conversation, because people aren't used to people who really listen. But then the common ground, talk about how do you find common ground with so many different diverse types of people? How's that work out for you? How do you develop that? Because obviously you're very, very good at it.
I mean, I feel like it's asking a lot of questions. I feel like when you find common ground with people, you're taking a general, authentic, interest in who they are. And when you ask them questions and like, what do you do? Tell me about yourself. What do you love? Why do you love it? I think is a big key into finding common ground and learning about the person, like you said, like it's so important. And I think more so today than ever, people are lonely and they really want to be loved. And, when they feel that from you, then they also want to be a part of what you have going on. They're like, tell me about you, and then it can just open up to having a general relationship with people, and people really line up to be in your space like you, David. Like people feel that from you. I know I felt that from you meeting you at UIA, and I was like, wow, like he really cares.
Well, it's really interesting because one of the questions I'm going to ask you in the fast rapid fire round, I was thinking how I would answer some of the questions. And there was one there about describing 6 words. And, I was thinking, what creates a great communicator and a great connector? And the human qualities, it's not like someone goes to business school to learn those, because you can't learn them at business school. You learn them being a mother, you learn them being a friend, you learn them being a son, you learn them being a daughter, you learn, right? But that ability of fascination and curiosity. And one of the things I kind of attempt to live by, and anyone who knows me really well will say I do a pretty good job at it every single day. I attempt to live each day as if it's the very first day of my life and the very last day of my life. And the first day, because of the immense curiosity and fascination, when I watch a baby picking up grass and putting it in their mouth, and of course we always try and stop them, but how a baby goes through the world, everything is fascinating. Every person, everything, they look at faces and they look deeply into your eyes. And that last day on earth is just that making sure that I'm really squeezing the juice out and appreciating and sort of, really having a real sense of gratitude towards everything that's happening and a sense of peace, So anyway, I want to get you your second question. So thanks for that, connecting. And I want people to understand, by the way, everyone listening right now, if you've taken something great from the answer of the first question, there's only 3 questions I'm asking, and then we're going to change it up a little bit. I want you to put that in the chat. What's some of the takeaways from what Brandy just shared, just so that we can sort of see what's landing? Because you said a little sentence there. What did you say? It doesn't get taught, it gets caught.
Yeah. A lot isn't taught more than it's caught. So,
describe that, because it's such a powerful saying. I know what you mean, but I don't know if everyone gets it.
Well, I think, for me, I feel like that just means that, I'm going to learn more from watching you. It's kind of like your own kids, right? You're like, wait a minute, they're going to do what you do, not what you say. And so that's a kind of an example on how something might be caught.
Right. Yeah.
So, and
That's
I think
awesome.
it goes in line with even our teams or, the people we're around, they're going to watch us and they're going to duplicate that. So good and bad.
Yeah. And I'm looking at some of the responses right now. A lot of people talking about the consistency, obviously being key, asking the great questions, be consistent, follow the, so all the things. So duplication and consistency, obviously, are some of the things that are taken away. So your second question was, why did you choose Isogenics? And how this is so important. Everyone listen to this part, because there's actually a secret that I'm going to point out to how Brandy is and why she's so successful so quickly. But so how do you cast a vision for a new person? So what attracted you, or why did you choose to say yes? And how do you cast that vision? And everyone be listening. And I want you to be putting what's coming up as you get it, as you hear something, type it in the chat so other people can learn from what you're learning.
Yeah. So, I mean, I always say, David, that, Isogenics found me. I was desperately seeking a collagen, a liquid collagen. My hair was falling out. My esthetician told me that I needed to find a good collagen because I can't do Botox or fillers. And it was like, what am I going to do? And so I went and I just was looking for a collagen. And so that's how I found Isogenics. And I'm super thankful for that. My goodness. I mean, and as far as casting the vision is huge. I believe that's everything. People without vision, they perish. And I think understanding for me, I just always tell people, I'm like, oh my gosh, I am so grateful that I found this collagen and I had no idea what was behind the curtains, truly. And I tell people all the time, I'm like, building a community, what I've been able to find here in Isogenics has been just priceless. When you think about it, and I tell people, who do you not know? We all know two people that want to age backwards. Tell me somebody that doesn't want to feel better, look better, and be better. And so we know when we're talking about casting vision, David, and what I tell all the new people is share your story, explain what motivated and transformed you and how it's still doing it. For me, I tell people all the time, I'm like, you know what? I look at this like taking what we do already anyway. So we're going to spend money anyway, and let's transfer our spending into earning. And as a community, finding people to catch the vision if they're already out there spending money anyway, right? So to be able to grab arms with people, show them the power of transferring their spending into money with a community of people that truly be able to everything rolls up to your bank account. Are you kidding? It's really important that, we can just share from a place of not like convincing people, but honestly, just sharing what's here, what we have, as far as this comp plan. And I tell people all the time, I'm like, look, I just got started as a customer, and then I found with 2 people, I could get my products paid for and it tastes better free. And then, oh my gosh, the tippy top level of this company's 10 people that share with 2 people. Are you kidding me? It opens up our comp plan for a minimum of $70,000 a year. Who do you know? Like, this is exciting. Oh my gosh, people today more than ever are needing this. And I feel like it's just my duty and my responsibility to take the community that we're building and saying, who do you know? Who can we bless? Who can we help? Who can we, transform their health? And from the inside out with our products and this company, it has just never been better.
All right. And I want to just put a little bit of a compliance thing in there, because when we say age backwards, it's not something we can say. So if a compliance officer is watching, we understand, just a small slip. It's all good. All right. However, let's go into what really Brandy just did, because again, I asked her one question, and because she's like so passionate, I can have 30 answers to the same question, but what is it? How does she share the vision? Right? There was a lot of different things she said, but how did she share the vision? With absolute certainty, with absolute belief in this product, belief in the company, and it oozes out of her. And you could actually, if I turned the sound off completely and we just said, all right, now share the vision, and we couldn't hear a word she said, I think we would all still grasp the vision and say, whatever she's got, I want. And so Brandy, talk a little bit about that certainty. Where does that certainty come from? And it just oozes out of you. And every time you speak, people start to feel this, I want what she's got. And how does someone develop that certainty? How do you get that in your people?
I think that, A1, when you find something that works, you get excited. And I think that we all feel the same way. If something works, we tell people. And if it really works, then you can literally just become so passionate, not only the product, but the comp plan and, and the leadership, the company, and I feel like for me, I've got my hope back, with Isogenics, because, it is real and it is very authentic and it's changing lives. It's changed my life in the last year, and every person that I'm sharing it with, literally, I can't even be more excited to wake up every single day, David, because I'm hearing more and more testimonies roll in about how it's changing people around me. And so I think, when it comes down to vision and passion and belief, it comes through Your confidence is growing as you just stay steady and you consistently show up. And then you're going to be disappointed. But overall, like, I think especially with Isogenics, David, like, I mean, we're too blessed to be stressed. Are you kidding? This is the most amazing company, the amazing comp plan. I literally could pee my pants when I think about like how it has changed in 1 year, globally thinking, impacting over 5,000 lives because it changed mine. Right. And people are waiting for us to talk about it. They're waiting for us to share. They're waiting for us to believe in ourselves. And if you don't believe in yourself yet, there's somebody that believes in you. And that's what happened to me. Somebody believed in me until I believed in myself. And it came through showing up, being consistent, and staying set. Literally, that is how I can tell you it's worked for me.
We're getting lots of people picking up on this vibe, and no, really that. But I want you to try something, everyone at home, and I want you to think about this as you're sharing as well. How can you bring more passion into everything? Because sharing if you want to be able to cast a vision, I watch some people talk about their day as if they're, it's a burden to get out of bed. I haven't had my coffee yet. Right? Or if you want to describe something, if you want to, or you want to say happy birthday to someone, how do we start just bringing an element of passion and an element so that when we do cast a vision, the muscles of being someone who's excited by life, being someone who sees life, being someone who squeezes the juice out of life, because that's what people are attracted to, And so I always say we're either affecting people or we're infecting them. So one of the things, and I'm sort of dissecting a little bit why Brandy is so successful, is I bet you if I ask her about her home or ask her about her relationship with Jeff, or I ask her about any part of her life, she's going to say it with the same kind of energy. I mean, in fact, I've heard her talk about her husband, right? We should do that as a little, tell us 30 seconds about Jeff.
Oh my gosh, you guys, I have to just put the camera on. So,
there he is. Hey, Jeff.
Yeah.
Thanks, Jeff.
What's up, David?
Hi, mate.
You guys, Jeff and I rode the school bus together in the 5th grade. And so we absolutely adore each other. We never were partners or romantically involved until older in life. But, God has a plan, right? And so when I think of Jeff, I think of just such an amazing supporter. He's my best friend. And when he saw this, you guys, he had lost his job after 25 years in the oil field. And you know what? I mean, we were like, okay, let's pivot. What's next? And so he has just been seeing what's been happening with Isogenics. And he's like, oh my gosh, do you know how much money you made this week? And I'm like, no, how much? And he's like, this is bananas. This is so crazy.
Jeff, don't tell her.
Then he's like, can I be your assistant? Yeah, we're going to not tell you, but it was like cha-ching, right? And so he was like, listen, let's just partner together. I don't ever have to go back to work. And we're just so thankful that, to do this together. I think it's been so great.
Yeah, it's just fortunate, to wake up every day, to work with the love of your life. Aww. And to, experience the highs and lows. And it's not like you have to have this whole other world and come home to somebody and try to describe it and explain it. We're right here beside each other. And like, we know each other, we know, the good and the bad, and we know what's ahead, and we're working together. And I tell people all the time, my grandparents worked together and owned restaurants, and they retired at 55 and they traveled the world and stuff like that. Just so I have a model to follow as well in my family, just working together. And when you work together as a team, I think you can get a lot more accomplished.
We've had a few tears now as people are watching you too. That's awesome. Thanks, Jeff. But hey, thank you, mate. It's really, really nice. You and I, we're going to get that beer together. So just look at how Brandy just did that. When she talks about their relationship, it was the same energy. So it's not a question of how do I share the vision? How do you lead this call and start looking at life through a lens of positivity? It doesn't matter what's going on. It's not like once I get this, I could be happier, or once I get this, I could be richer, or once I get the idea is this: once we're happy, we start to attract those things. So notice everything you talk about, and notice what words you use, and the passion that's there, because that is what's contagious, and that's why Brandy is such a huge success. All right, the last question for you. Then we're going to turn the tables. All right. What is your favorite productivity hack? I think was the last question. Yeah, favorite productivity hack. And it's great to see Jeff in the picture. You can leave him right there.
I know, he's so cute. Yeah, and thank you for that, babe. That was nice. I think my favorite productivity hack is, just again, gratitude. And you guys, it does make you productive. Every single day, waking up and affirming yourself and then getting to work, because first you can believe and then you can receive. And so when you start really, believing in yourself first and just like speaking life over yourself every single day. And I just always pray, David, every day that, God bless my efforts and he blessed my team's efforts. And truly, it's just been a biggest hack. Like it really has been something that's showing up day after day and driving the line, looking down at my team and saying, who can I show up for today? Who can I bless? Who can I serve? Who's new? Who can I celebrate? I think is a great hack. A lot of times, other things that we do, it's about ourselves. But I love that this is all about, the company made such a great plan to say, hey, you share, they share, and that's a system we follow. So helping people really come out of their shell, literally just teach them how to affirm themselves, and then you affirming your people, I think is the greatest hack ever.
Yeah, I know Jessica and you work closely together, and what she celebrating people's birthdays, a simple task of going on Facebook or where you can see and actually leaving these beautifully positive messages on people's birthdays, just again as a great habit of reconnecting with people. And I know she has this, I mean, when she says a happy birthday to you, you feel like, all the stars aligned, you feel like the most important person on the planet, right?
You do. And I think it's something that we should all take away. I think, every single day, if you could look down and say, have I not affirmed someone? Have I not celebrated someone today? Then you should make it a daily habit. And like you said, it is absolutely, I know Jessica and I will call each other and out of nowhere, she'll say, Brandy, do you see the boats and the planes and the trains and the automobiles of people like lining up to be on your team, lining up to be in this, with this opportunity. And, we do that for each other and we do that all throughout our team. And it's just such a great thing, to be a part of that. Yeah. And to have people in your life that model that example of celebration, standing on a chair and clapping for other people's success until it's your turn. I think it's the greatest thing ever.
That's awesome. All right. So everyone, that's the 3 questions that she chose. And again, any takeaways, please put them in the chat. Jessica, she said, is outstanding at casting division for people. But just put things in the chat so I can see what's going on out there. And we are now going to, who can I serve is coming in there from Jen. Come on, type them in there, people. So we know you're all coming along for this. So I've got the rapid fire round. This is where I want them to get stuff from you. Dr. Brian, gratitude is everything. Believe to receive. It's Marissa. It doesn't get taught, it gets caught. Celebrating people is a beautiful thing. Doesn't have to be could just be their birthdays. That's from Lynn. All right, guys, thank you for all of that. Rapid fire round. I'm going to ask you these questions. They're going to be answered quickly. So we're going to get through them quickly. But I want people to grab it, right? So if you hear an answer you love and it's something you're going to do, then I want you to take it on. What book, podcast, or other resource do you recommend the most or use and recommend the most?
Well, number one, David, would be the Bible. Right now, I'm using Your Rank Advancement Blueprint by Rob Sperry. This book is outstanding, and I've been literally just holding on to this thing for a while now because it's got so much.
Hold it up one more time so people can take a photo.
It's called Your Rank Advancement Blueprint, and it's by Rob Sperry. So good. Absolutely great ever.
All right. Awesome. Thank you. If you had to describe yourself in only 6 words. Now, people, this is an exercise you could do at home. I just did it myself. But thinking about who do I want to become and how would I have to describe myself in only 6 words, those qualities. So describe yourself in 6 words. All right. What would they be?
Okay, I would say loyal, confident, fun, encouraging, passionate, kind. I think
Kind
that's
is the
it.
ultimate superpower. Carry on.
I think that's 6.
Come on, one more time. Let's hear them one more time.
Okay, so I would say confident, loyal, encouraging, giving, giving, fun, and kind.
And kind. Awesome. So think about those things. If you want to lead an extraordinary life, if I said, okay, I'm going to live into those 6 words, I'm going to write 6 words down about who I ultimately want to be and live into it, right? All right. What is one of your favorite quotes that you live by? Not one of the quotes that you put on Instagram or anything like that. I'm talking about a quote that when you wake up in the morning, you live by it.
I got this one. All right. This is what I say to myself every single day, you guys. I'm like, I'm too blessed to be stressed. I'm too anointed to be disappointed. I'm the head, not the tail. I'm the lender, not the borrower. I'm above and not beneath. And everything I put my hands to prospers and succeeds.
Woo, woo, woo. I'm not going to ask you to repeat it, but you guys getting this? All right. Okay. What's one thing that you do in the mornings that sets up your day apart from cuddles here?
100% hands down, spend my time in prayer every morning.
Awesome. That's so good. How would you spend, this is something important, how would you spend an extra hour a day? If you were given an extra hour, how would you spend it?
Sleeping.
That's okay. That's okay. That's good. Yeah. Because you're full out. So that's awesome. All right. This is a funny one. If your worst enemy wrote your dating profile, what would they say?
Gosh. Oh gosh. Okay. Maybe they would just say that it's all about her and her team and her company. And that if you need to get any time with this chick, you're going to have to join her team and buy some collagen. I don't know what they would say. I have no idea.
All right. What's your biggest fear?
I don't have one, to be honest.
Yep.
I guess there would be one, David. I mean, anything god awful, with anything happening to my husband or my kids or my family. I mean, that's probably typical, but I don't really have a fear.
Awesome. Well, that means you've done a lot of work because, again, most people, my whole mission's around helping people break through their fears. So I believe the same thing. I can't think of them, but if I find them, they do show up once in a while. Yes. Okay. Who's been the most influential person in your life?
Definitely, hands down, Jeff. I'm not just saying that he has. I mean, literally.
I actually think we all saw that a moment ago. I don't think you have to justify it.
No, you guys, he honestly wouldn't even date me. We have a story, but he wouldn't even date me because I did have fears. I had things that held me back. And it was crazy because everybody would say, why didn't y'all ever date? And it was because I truly was unhealthy in a state of my life. And I really had to, get that in together. And so he has always spoke so much life into me and I'm very grateful for it.
Awesome.
So
this is important, again, for everyone who, especially if you're new, you don't have the confidence yet, you're just starting out and you're starting to work on yourself. You start to realize that the greatest person is already inside you. We just have to unlock it, that person we were born to be. So being able to answer this question easily is a practice. And for some of you, it would be hard. But what is the best compliment or compliments that you can give yourself?
I never give up. Ever.
Love it. Love it. What's your favorite hobby?
Dancing.
Has Jeff Twinkle Toes too? Does he got the move?
No, we're working on it.
All right. Awesome. All right. And what's one thing that you really want to learn? What's something you're looking to learn right now?
Kathy Coover's Beauty Secrets.
Oh,
I mean, have you seen the woman? She's freaking hot. I mean, did you see her 70 years old on her birthday celebration on the yacht? I'm like, oh my gosh. I know. I mean, she is just amazing. She's just inside and out, she's awesome. All
right. And what is your superpower? Now, this is important because we're going to come back to this if there's time. What is your superpower? Something you've mastered in Isogenics. Now, everyone here you have a superpower in your life. Like for me, it's kindness. Every single place I go in the world, the first thing I lead with is kindness to every single person, any animal, anything I come across. So I would say my personal superpower is kindness. So for you, how would you describe it? But this is in isogenics. What do you think your personal superpower is?
I think my personal superpower would be, seeing the qualities that people can't see themselves and then pulling them out. I have a really a gift to pull the things out in people that maybe they don't see themselves. I think that's in helping them.
Awesome. The people are starting to write. Annalise said her superpower is discernment, my caring heart and enthusiasm, truth. Oh, she's just saying truth. Vision casting is my superpower. That's from Mum. I'm not sure who Mum is. Hi, Mum. Come on, guys, put them in there. Let's see.
Gwen, that was Gwinnett. Good job, Gwen.
We need that AM affirmation repeated. Oh, would you do your AM affirmation again, please?
I sure can. I say, I am too blessed to be stressed. I'm too anointed to be disappointed. I'm the head, not the tail. I'm the lender, not the borrower. I'm above and not beneath. And everything I put my hands to prospers and succeeds.
Yeah, you're going to have to type that in there, Jeff. All right, so now we get to switch one more time. Now we're going to switch it around. You now become the interviewer. I become the interviewee, and we're going to switch it. And you have selected questions randomly. I know you did send them, but we didn't have to. I will be put on the spot anytime by any leader. This is the next part of this particular show. By the way, if this is landing, if you're enjoying this format where it's kind of mixed up, it's not just two people back and forth, just put a 1 in the chat so I can see that this is landing. Yep.
Yay.
Awesome. I think it's landing.
I had a feeling. Like it. I think this is going to be okay, David. I think we're good.
I think we're good. All right. So I'm now all yours. What would you
my gosh. I am so excited to get to ask you these questions, David. I couldn't be more excited to hear these responses. And I know that probably most everybody on this call under the sound of my voice is probably thinking, oh my gosh, we would love to know these things too. So, okay, first question. Would love to know your morning routine, like exercise, gratitude, meditation, intentions, like how early do you rise? What is your morning routine? What does it look like for you?
I wake up I'm not a big sleeper, never have been. My dad is 94. He still only has 4 or 5 hours of sleep a night, and I'm kind of like that. So the thing I did about 8 years ago is I made the non-negotiable in the morning would be working out. But when I wake up, I realize that having time, I didn't drink coffee for 40 years, but my girlfriend asked me, she said, I'd love to do is to sit in bed together and just drink. We were in Greece at the time during these last 2 years. We traveled a lot. And so during the week, she'll wake up and she'll make coffee and we'll lay in bed and we'll drink a coffee and we do gratitudes. And it's just sharing things we're grateful for. We open the curtains, we have a gorgeous view, and we just do gratitudes. Then I get up, I have a shower. In the summer, I get on my motorbike and I go to the gym. I have a gym in the house, but I always go out of the house. So I work out 5 days a week with 4 different trainers. And so because I like the variety, 3 of them are in the same gym. And on Fridays, I have a guy come here and we work out in my gym, and it's all golf related. So then what I do, but I find that 15-minute drive is where, and sometimes I connect with my family. So I'll phone my dad this morning, for example. So I use it as a connecting time in the car. So I've gone from gratitude into an incredibly hard workout. Or on the way there, it's the peace. But on the way back, I tend to be on my own as just having space. And I want to have time completely alone. And I find that in the car. So actually the drive to the gym and back is a 15-minute drive. And then I get back and I get back in the shower, I have another shower, I get ready and I look at my day, and typically I won't start my first calls or my first kind of work probably until 10 o'clock typically. So I actually block off most of that morning to be with my girlfriend or alone, because right now she's in Europe, and exercise, gratitude, meditation. I've meditated for years, but I meditate in bed before anyone else stirs. So it's a very silent meditation. So I do use meditation, and I've done it since I was 19. And it's just in that morning, and it's a different kind of thing, and it's just a very peaceful connection, and it's just really connecting to breath. And I know it sounds woo-woo, but it's just something I do before anyone stirs in the house, and there's no movement in the house. So it's just, so I really love that early morning. So does that help?
I love it. I love that. You guys type in the chat if you guys loved his answer about his morning routine. And then moving to the next question, David, like truly want to find out, like, you know, right now we're personally working on building effective leadership, right? And duplication within our personal team. What takeaways would you have on impacting leadership? Like what would you say building leaders looks like in your opinion?
Yeah, you know, this is such an interesting question because some people, based on their journey, have leadership qualities that they've already established, whether they played on teams or whether they were you know, they led in a chess club at school. So some people have been exposed to leadership in their journey, while others haven't. It's just I was never a leader at school. I was the antithesis of a leader. I was the absolute bottom. It would never cross my mind that I had a leadership quality. So what I realized is leadership can be learned. And so, but the question of leadership is sometimes, if especially with a massive team, especially because you think about, we have a volunteer army. And so what I love to do is, and what we've done in ICGenics, I work all over the world with leaders all over the world, is create vacuums where they can step in, asking people to do simple things like an introduction, getting them to stand up on stage, getting them to see themselves in a different light. So, and this whole idea about, you know, the journey of personal growth, because I truly, truly, truly believe our job is to grow people. And I was doing a coaching call this morning, and I was just saying, yeah, but the only way we can coach other people or grow other people, I'm sorry, is if we're in a state of growth. And it's so easy, especially in Isogenics, to get into a routine, a daily routine where we're busy growing other people and we're busy, you know, pouring love into them, but we rarely take time to actually get into sort of what's going to grow us, what's going to take us to another level. How do we move that way? But what I do love is this. I have people, I'll give you an example. Emily Ford, who previously Emily Vavra, when I first met Emily, she was terrified. She wouldn't pick up a microphone. She sat in the back of the room with her legs crossed. She was earning $18,000 a year as a massage therapist, laying on the floor. But you see her today, you see her in front of thousands or, you know, tens of thousands of people, you know, at GoPro or whatever like that. And you see this incredibly powerful woman. What we don't realize is the journey. And what I realize is very few professions allow us to become pinnacle leaders, you know, and there's, if you look at John Maxwell's 5 levels of leadership, right? And you think about, you know, that our profession is probably one of the only professions I know of where every single person on this call can, over the next 5, 10, 15 years, become a pinnacle leader. When I call that pinnacle leader, I think about Richard Branson, or I think about Muhammad Gandhi, or I think about Jim Coover, you know, these pinnacle leaders, all right? And so being in this type of profession, it calls us to lead. It calls us to move to another level, because I mean, even if we're brand new, we're a week in and we bring somebody in, by us sharing what we know, by us helping someone get to where we've got, it actually pushes us into another level of leadership. But I think what happens, Brandy, is not everyone's conscious of it. Not everyone wakes up in the morning and asks themselves the question. And I love to do this. It's that kind of 1% improvement. You know, what have I done today? Where have I put my energy to be 1% better than I was yesterday? And it's not about, you know, it's an elegant thing. It's not like, it's got to be hard, but where am I growing? Where am I doing? And if I can just have that 1% growth mindset, and it's so easy to think, just 1%, and it could be in any area of our life. It doesn't have to be just in isogenics, because, you know, we bring ourselves to the business. So, you know, if we're in the habit of being extraordinary in our life, if we're in the habit of that 1% growth in our hobbies, in even how we cook, that we start bringing this level of wanting to be slightly better in an elegant way, not in I'm a crappy person, in a great way, just to kind of want to squeeze the juice out of life. I think that leadership becomes very natural. And before we know it, you kind of turn around and think, I'm leading. I didn't know I was a leader, but you actually become a leader, right? And you think about moms. I mean, moms are leading kids every single day. You know, I can talk to a mom with 5 kids. She said, well, I'm not a leader. Really? Have you seen how incredible you are as a mother? the ultimate leader, right?
So true. And with that, okay, so one of the things that I would say, like, especially with habits, David, like over, you're watching Isogenics and training all over. What would you say that you do, like, or your daily habits, or would tell people to do to, keep the mindset happy and abundant and successful and overcoming? Like, a lot of people are in so much fear of rejection, and you guys can type in the chat. I mean, what is it that you fear? How do you help people up out of that? And what do you do daily to keep that?
Yeah, I mean, I wrote a mission statement when I first started doing this work about 20 odd years ago, and it was to reach, teach, and inspire people to break through change. I'm sorry, to break through their fears, embrace change, and live in their higher selves. And everything I do in my life comes back to that. Am I helping someone move through fear? And fear is interesting because the word fear, if we look at the definition of the word fear, everyone will often say, false evidence appearing real, but that's not the definition. And fear is interesting because, a fear of talking to someone or a fear of picking up the phone and following up is as real as jumping out of a plane. And I demonstrate this. You've seen me do it at the UIA, where I can take somebody who's completely fearful about speaking in public, and in a matter of minutes, 15, 20 minutes, they can transform that belief system and be standing on stage, and over the next 2 days, standing with authority, with power, with passion. So fear is something I would say if we look at the definition, it's the anticipation of pain. So what happens is, our mind has to go to the future to find fear. People aren't afraid of flying. They're afraid of crashing. They're not afraid of heights. They're afraid of hitting the ground. So what our mind has to do, it has to run forward. It has to imagine the worst thing possible. So people aren't afraid of speaking in public. They're afraid of making a mistake in public. They're afraid of being rejected in public. They're afraid of looking stupid in public. So the idea of fear then, for me, one of the greatest things that ever happened, I left England when I was 20. I left for 6 days, but I ended up backpacking for 10 and a half years. And I remember being scared for about a year and a half. And I was traveling through Israel when this feeling of fear suddenly started to leave me. So I lived in a state of fear for a very, very long time. The fear of the unknown, fear of different cultures, the fear of different foods. So for me, I realized that if I could notice anything in my body that I was afraid of, and the brain's pretty good, like for some of you, if I said, do you want to go skydiving? And people go, never. And they don't question why they say that. They just say, never would do that. But for me, what I looked at in my life, I thought, if I'm afraid of that, so I was afraid of public speaking. And because I then see a wedding when I was quite young, and I was young, I was about, 27, no, what was I, 33. So I was quite young. I emceed a wedding and I completely blew the whole thing. And the groom side of the family left the wedding, and some of them didn't speak to him for a year, and they didn't come to the party. The whole groom side of the family, I completely botched the wedding. So I had an absolute fear of public speaking. I said to myself, I would never stand in public again. Look what I do for a living. I mean, my largest event is 15,000 people. And so this has become my life's work because of the greatest pain. So what I do is I notice any fear I have and I address it by taking some action, moving towards that fear, because I understand it's not really fear. What it is the anticipation of me getting hurt. So then I just realized that's all it is. And I did a really interesting experiment with my son, Ben. When he was 17, I took him on a 9-country tour for 3 months. And we spent a week in New Zealand. And if you go on my Instagram, you can see some photographs of these things we did. So every single day we did something that scared him. And all I said to him is, I said, Benny, as a 17-year-old, I just want you to understand what fear is. And I want you to understand what's on the other side of fear. All right. And so the first day we did a bungee jump, for example, right? Now, this is a lot of physical fears, right? But again, if you look at some of the pictures, but what he was able to do was transfer that. And now I would say my son is incredibly fearless. He's only 21, 22, but he's incredibly fearless, right? And after we finished that week, he then traveled through China and Japan alone. He couch surfed through China. He hitchhiked through Japan with very little money. He only had really virtually no money. So I just think that it's one of the sexiest things to think about. If you wake up and then you feel something that you are afraid of and you address it. And that's why our profession is so cool, because we're allowed to address these fears. And then who we become in the process of growing through our fears. Like you said, I've no fear. And I believe you. Now, I may be able to take you into certain situations where I could find a few, right? So
maybe. I mean, I don't know. Maybe jumping out of a plane, I might be a little bit fearful, but I don't know. But that's amazing, and I love that story about, when you told it at UIA about your son getting in that accident and the mindset that you had around, hey, get back on the horse and just.
yeah, I can tell him real quick so they understand. He rode off his first car, crashed in through a bunch of trees, hit like he was on the edge of a cliff, complete write-off. And when he came home, I asked if he was, I mean, he was in total shock, by the way. But I said, do you, first of all, we never talked. I talked to his mom, who's one of my close friends, but we were separated 20 years ago. But I just said, look, we're not going to make any deal about this. We're not going to talk about, oh my God, you almost died, or remind him every time he gets in the car, oh, be careful. All we did was, I said, it's a non-event. The car's already gone. It's a complete write-off. We can't bring that back. So when he got out of the woods, I took him home and I showed his mom the video. She said, oh my God, he could have died. I said, but we're not doing that. All right. And what happened was I said to him, so Ben, do you need to go to the hospital? He said, no, I'm fine. I said, well, go to work then. And then a day later, we talked about the car. I said, just let it go. Don't talk about it ever again. You've learned the experience. Forget about it. Right. So that's kind of it. But that's a different mindset. And we never talked about it again. Right. So.
And I love that. I think we can get so used to rehearsing our fears and our pain that it just absolutely can work against us instead of just allowing us to drop hands with it and just move on. And so I loved how you gave that example. That was really great. David, last question. Okay, so as our world continues to evolve, David, with the recent increase in gas prices and continued concern of unemployment, recession chatter, can you share the reasons why there has never been a better time to align with Isagenix? And what are some of the strategies or ideas that you have or communicate this to your team or prospects?
Yeah, well, if you think about, I study wealthy people, and if you look about how wealth is generated in bad times. People don't become wealthy in good times. In good times when everyone else is spending. So for the last couple of years, people have been spending like crazy, right? And it's unbelievable what people are paying for houses and cars and all this kind of stuff. So what's happening right now is, as we lean in towards, and I'm going to use the R word, I apologize in advance, but it's going to be pretty deep. We've been a lot of years since we've had a major recession. The last time we had one in 2008, 2009, Isagenix went into momentum. Why? Because there's never been a time. People, look what they're paying for their gas. Look what they're paying for their groceries. I mean, it's unbelievable. And this is global. This is not just an isolated place. And by the way, you are all in a global business. So people are looking for ways to make that extra $500, to make that extra $1,000 it's costing them to live every single month. But this one's going to get deep and it's going to hurt. And those people who have a secondary income, those people who have, and it's not just the income, by the way, I got to say this, the greatest thing about our company is not the compensation plan. It's the culture. It's what we're doing right now. Imagine some people are sitting watching Netflix right now while we're communing and talking about things of beauty and passion and life and helping people and contribution. I mean, that is a worthy way to live, right? So there has never been a greater time to join Isagenix. I don't believe that. And I know that, we've been in a downturn ourselves as a company because there are no straight lines in the universe. Every single company in the world, anyone you can think about, Tesla, think about where they were at one point. Look at where they are right now. Because as entrepreneurs, we get paid to solve people's problems for a profit. What is the greatest problems happening out there in the world right now? It was weight loss. It was, it was heart disease. It was medical. But what is going to be right now is going to be financial. There is going to be a financial thing that, again, we look back at 2008, 2009. We look at what people need most right now. They're looking for a way to protect their family financially. So if we can cast that vision for them, and show them that this is a real opportunity and that we don't sell the $1 million because they're not looking for $1 million. A lot of people are looking for that extra $1,000 or $2,000. And we show them how they can elegantly do that within a community because, again, what people go through, right? It's this connection that we have. It's this mastermind that we have. It's this sharing of these powerful things. So I truly believe, I talked to Kathy Coover about this today, and I said, I'm going to be working with Brandy today and her team. And I said, what's one message? And it's exactly what she said to me, exactly what I just shared with you. She said, there's never been a greater time. There's never been more people hurting financially, and it's going to get worse. And it's going to get, so the preparation right now for you to be there when your neighbor is saying, oh my God, I can't make ends meet. We can't afford to put gas in the car, and that's going to happen. You're going to see it all over. So Brandy, I'm truly excited, but this is a natural cycle. What I just noticed in 2008, if you go back, what was happening is everyone was buying houses. There was that mortgage fiasco. Everything's been happening right now for the last year. People have just been spending money like it's water because they suddenly had so much because they weren't traveling, right?
So true. So true. And you guys, drop some love in the chat or fire or any kind of anything if you just got some massive value from tonight. And David, honestly, what an honor it is that, to be a part of this series. Thank you for asking me, and thank you for being on here tonight with us, and just all the wisdom and that you've just given, Isagenix and each person tonight is just so valuable. And we really do appreciate you so much. And,
and I just want to say real quick, as I close, I just want to close the show. Thank you, everyone. Master your mindset, sharpen your skill set. We'll be here with another leader. Everyone.